Chris with Chipper LLC Trailers and Equipment here in front of our entire Iron-Rhino wheel loader lineup. At Chipper LLC Trailers and Equipment, we aim to be a superstore with a wide variety of trailers, mini excavators, track loaders, mini skid steers, wheel loaders, concrete buggies, and generally things are used by landscapers, construction, tree guys. Right now we'll focus on the wheel loader lineup. For wheel loaders, we carry Giant as our premium product, our top tier, and we carry the Iron-Rhino brand as our value tier, but don't let value fool you. In some regards, the Iron-Rhinos are going to excel against even the top tier competitors. But what they do is do that at a price that's much more affordable. They're all going to feature 25 horsepower diesel engines. These are all under emissions design machines, so that's keep you in a good price point because there's no DPF and everything. It's also just lower cost. 25 horsepower diesels, all either Kubota or Perkins. For full specs, you'll refer to chipperllcsales.com for full details, but I'm going to quick give you a little bit of rundown. So the benefit of Iron-Rhino is instead of loaders from the 40s into the 50s, you have loaders from the high 20s into the high 30s. So significant price point difference with the same reliable Kubota and Perkins engines that you would find in any other machine. And because I have a background of, I started out in tree service with a large tree company. We branched out into having a rental company, and now we do equipment sales. So the combination of my past tree service knowledge from that equipment combined with knowledge that we've gained from being a rental store and also selling these allows us to help you find the right machine. Another thing that we do is, rather than being tied to one machine, and I sell for company X, I sell for a variety of companies. And because of that, instead of trying to jam company X down your throat, I simply say, we stock a lot of stuff, and we want to educate you about what we stock and help you make the best decision for your company, not just kind of glass over and try to shove something down your throat because that's what we sell. I try to have a variety so you can have a variety. Talking about Iron-Rhino. Iron-Rhino is our house brand. Are we a manufacturer? No, we're not. These are all machines that are built for us, branded by us, but they're manufactured by companies that we partner with. We partner with these companies and give them our specs to basically take a machine that is a pretty good machine and try to improve on some of the weak points of it. Do we get everything out of it? No, there's no machine that gets everything out, but we'll try to educate you on the pros and cons of every machine. One last thing, before we go through the lineup, let's just talk about terms a little bit. So when we refer to low tip and mid tip, tip weights are no attachment, no forks, nothing, just a crane scale attached to the plate. It's just a baseline to give you something to go off of. Generally, let's say if you want to pick up 2,000 pounds, you wouldn't want to look at a machine with a tip of less than 4,000. You need a safety factor, and you also need to factor in, you know, the weight of the forks and the weight of the bucket. So, and the other thing is low and mid. So like if you imagine my shoulder as the pinpoint of the loader arms, is they're going to be the furthest out from the loader at mid, and that's the weakest point. And then down low, they're stronger because they're closer to the machine. So giving the low and the mid will kind of help paint a picture for you. And the reason it's good to have this video and go through is because there's slight differences in the operating capacity, and it's related to, this is a thing with some wheel loaders. Some wheel loaders are designed with arms that are just strong enough that they will turn themselves on their nose. I mean, they're, you know, arms might be capable of 4 times what the actual machine can do, and they will tip. Some machines are engineered such that the arms fail to lift before the machine will tip. So if you have a machine that's designed with that stronger set of arms, and it's actually able to tip itself, the operating capacity you would expect to be located further from that tip, meaning it needs more of a safety factor. But if it's a machine that is already engineered to not really pick up more than what it should, then the operating capacity might be rated a little bit higher relative to what the actual lift is. For a classic case of this, I'm going to jump out of order a little bit. We have our 1700 class machine here, the 1700 WL and the 1700 Telly. They're the same machine. The body, everything is the same. The only difference on these machines is the arms. The Telly, the way it has a double cylinder on here for the Telly, allows this thing, this is one that will turn itself on its nose. You've got a low tip on this thing of 4,944 pounds. And then the 1700 limit is about that 35% of tip. So it's got a really big range between the working limit set at and the low tip. Now, over here on the standard boom, this is also a 1,700 pound class machine. Its low is 2,954 pounds, but its mid is also 2,830 pounds, and that has got to do with the mechanics of the arm. So the mechanics of the standard boom is designed more like where it is designed around to, it's got the same safe limit. If they're both at their midpoint, their rated capacity is a little bit over half of what their mid is. It's far below what they will actually tip at down low. But you've got, in the Telly, if you needed to move something around down low, that machine has more grunt. And that's why you want to look at all these measurements, and knowing what they mean will help you. So when you see something that's got a really high low tip, but its operating weight's rated lower, it's probably related to it having a strong set of arms on it, where its true tip is really at the point where it's lifting the rear end up. And you know, if you look at one like this, you'll see that the low and the mid are almost the same number, and that's because its tip point is not where it tips the machine. Its tip point is when the arm fails to continue reaching. So come back to that. Let's start at the bottom and work at the top. The 1000. The 1000 current price, $28,995. Kubota diesel engine. Lots of features. You got dual hydraulics. You got the Bobcat style universal skid steer mini plate. Available in turf or ag tires. That's a 12-inch tire that's on it standard. 12-inch turf also standard. This wheel design is going to give you really good ground clearance. It's got that larger frame on the back. Engine compartment is very open, easy to work on. Great price. It's a 1,000 weight class machine. I mean, it's equivalent to like a Toro TX 1000, a Bobcat MT 100 as far as what it'll lift, and it's at a fantastic price. It's got that wheel loader articulation, lets you run all over the yard of turf without causing damage, and it is at the bottom, but it's a great machine. If you move up, priced at $31,995, current price, is the 1700 in the standard boom. It is $37,995 in the Telly. So it's just lift height difference. You're talking about I should have these memorized. About 97 inches over here, 92 inches retracted over here, or 110 fully extended. So you got more outward reach and more upward reach using the Telly. These versus the 1000 is a lot more lift capacity, not as much ground clearance. If you see the way these are designed, 23-inch tire is as much as what they can run. They're shown with a turf in duals. Also a skid steer or an R4 pattern you can get, and you can also get an ag pattern. in these duals. Currently, they're only available as duals. We are working on a single wheel version, which would be the same, similar to this, but it's still going to have to be a 23-inch tire because of the way the fender wells are built. And up here in the front, you can change it. In the back, you can't. I mean, that's part of the engine bay. So dual wheels, 37 inches wide with them off, 57 inches wide with them on. We talked about the lift capacity. I mean, all these are going to have a fantastic light package, of like LED lights, front and rear. Most of them are going to have strobe. Again, all featuring that reliable. You got the Kubota V1105 25 horse engine. So if I needed ground clearance, or I was, just really set on my price, I would look over there. You can see, the additional ground clearance. If I needed the most compact, I would look over here. One of the things with compact is you do pay a little price for compact, and this is it. So most of our machines are designed to be extremely easy to work on and very open in the engine compartment. This one is jammed down to you just can't get the machine any smaller. And for somebody that wants compact, there are things you have to deal with compact. Like if you have to work on something, it is going to involve, getting a wrench out and taking panels off. It's just not a matter of just I flip up the seat and I have access to it. But that's part of us wanting to present you with a variety of options, tell you what your pros and cons are to let you make that decision. So, if I could live with, a little bit more compact and harder to work on, but I wanted just the most, the power to weight ratio of these is just amazing. This machine weighs about 3,500 pounds, and its tip is almost 5,000 down low. It's just unbelievable. But this is an overview. Won't spend too much time on any one individual machine, but again, like I'd say, pros, ground clearance. Here, your ground clearance is going to be less. Okay, so moving up or down, whichever way you look at it. This is the 1200, so it's a little bit bigger machine than the 1700, but it gives you some of those features that you don't get. It's back to a larger frame. It's back to easier access on these. The entire engine compartment flips open for access. Super easy to work on. Also available in duals. You can get these duals in a skid steer R4 pattern if you're working in mud. And they're also not too bad on turf. And you can also get a full turf tire in them, and it's actually just almost exactly the same tread as the turf tire on the small loader there. I just don't have any here right now at the moment. And what you get in this one is, this one you've got to spend $37,995 to get to that 110-inch lift height. You got to have the telly. Yeah, you can get the standard boom, spend a little bit less money, but you sacrifice height. On this one, you don't. This is 111 inches of pin height, and it's doing it without the need for a telly, so that's going to let this machine come in at a little bit lower price point. It's available also in a wide variety of tire options. You can get single turf, single ag, or as it's shown here with duals, you can get duals just in the front. The advantage to duals in the front is if you take them on and off a lot, put duals in the front for the stability. And this is where when you're carrying a load, it's really mostly the front that is carrying the weight. So some people will run duals just in the front. They don't have to have two sets to take off. When the machine is not loaded, it doesn't necessarily need that much weight, but when you're carrying your load, you can run those duals. You got twice the area, so it's twice the ground pressure to spread it off on, so you don't have to worry about, if the ground's wet, about it mooring up. This one's going to be the 25 horsepower Perkins. Like I said, you got two different wheel options. Its points that it's going to excel at is going to be height, and it features the universal mini skid steer plate. And what that is the universal mini skid steer plate can pick up mini skid steer attachments or full-size skid steer attachments. And then the smaller machine over to the 1700, I didn't mention it, it has the universal mini plate, which is what people call the dingo plate. So they're both universal USA plates. Some uses the mini, some uses the Bobcat mini. Let's jump over to the 1600 WL. Okay, the 16 WL is cab. It's only available in cab, but you can buy it and just simply remove the doors. Or remove the doors just for summer and then put them back on in winter. Now, the 1600 WL is very much the same machine as the 1200 WL, but the cab version is a lengthened version of the 1200 WL, giving it more lift capacity. Like the 1200 WL that we just covered, it's available with the turf tires, which we just talked about. It's also available with these dual tires that we just talked about. So this machine shown here with the ag tires can have the 12-inch turf, 12-inch ag. You can upgrade it to a 13-inch turf, or you can get this machine with the duals. It is designed to be able to accommodate all those tire options. So the 1600 is a cab machine that gives you a ton of options. It features the hydraulic lifting cab. Again, this is one of those that's fantastic and easy to work on. Actually, from everything from except for the 1700 is all going to have that great easy access. These particular are just outstanding because the cab actually lifts up, so you just got complete exposure to work on your stuff. So 1600 is a great machine. 2200 series, available in a standard boom and telly, available in open cab and enclosed cab. So if you need to jump up to a higher weight machine, lifting weight, but you don't necessarily need the lift height, the standard boom is a good choice. It's 99 inches, which is still a lot of height, but now it's not 111 inches like the 1200 over here. So again, wide variety. You have to know the machines to know what you want. So you jump up in weight, but in this case you go down in height. Unless you go with a telly, with this telly, you definitely go up in height. That is 12 feet, 144 inches of tip height. That is higher than any full-size skid steer. If you need reach, the telly is your jam. All right, so same machine, straight boom and telly. They both are going to feature the what's called the dingo plate, the universal mini plate. They're available in turf tires as shown, ag tires, also available in this same 12-inch turf tire, also available in a 13-inch turf tire, small upgrade for the 13-inch. You know, great light package, strong loader, this is going to be another one of those loaders where, just like with the 1700 in the 2200, they're both 1700-pound machines, but the telly is actually going to have just a little bit more of low lift. Now, the mid are going to be about the same, but down low, that telly is stronger. And again, it's that you've got a different set of mechanics and different cylinders, giving the telly that extra lift strength. So that's the open cab. It's going to benefit from that larger engine compartment, larger bay, easy to work on. Now it's also available in the cab. Now, cab machines, keep in mind, all these cab machines are on the 25 horsepower machines. They are not AC, they're going to be heat only cabs. Cab with heat. There are some aftermarket AC that can be added that are purely electric. They provide some cooling, but they're not going to provide the cooling you would get from a compressor driven AC unit. Let's open up one of the cabs and take a look. So, and I may repeat myself, but the whole no AC on the cab machine, it's just 25 horsepower. It's keeping you under emissions, but it's like all of that 25 horsepower needs to go to the machine. It's just, there's no extra horsepower to go to the AC unit. But with the cab, spacious, keeps out the wind and rain, does have a heater. And again, on all these, the cab machines are a very small upgrade. So, you know, totally reasonable idea to just unpin the doors, keep the doors in your shop for the side doors, so you got some air moving in the summer, and then the winter, if you want to put those doors back on, you slap them back on. But you've got that front window to protect you from, you know, blowing rain and stuff during the summer months, and doors removed. The 1600 WL does have pin back doors where it can run with them open. The 2200, the way that the cab is built, the door hinge is at the very back, so it does not have pin back doors. They're just kind of gold doors. They open up to, you know, here we can get in and out, and then they close. All right, so let's jump down to the biggest of our loaders. And yes, we are short on space here at Chipper Trailers and Equipment. But what we got, 2500 WL. This thing's gonna have, we're talking about 6,000 pounds tip down low, 2,500 pound working limit. Also is really got one of the most luxurious of the cabs, and we stock it just in a cab machine only, just because it's got a fantastic cab. At least you got you know, you got fan in there and everything, and again, doors are easily removed, and the price we get on these with the cab is so fantastic. We stock it just in the cab. If you want an open cab, take the doors off, it's a great price. Now that 1700 that was up in front is also in the back, and the reason is I want to do a little comparison for you. All right, back here at the end, we're going to touch on the 1700 again. We're going to touch on it next to a Giant G1200. Now, we're a dealer for Giant, we're a dealer for Iron-Rhino. Giant in this G1200, now what is it? It's still at, it's 2,400 pounds with no counterweight, 2,600 pounds with a counterweight, and it's a strong little machine, and it's a little machine. The Iron-Rhino is almost as small, so it's just a little bit longer, but the Iron-Rhino is a drastic difference in what its lift capacities are. So we're just going to cover this because of, you know, if you need the strongest, littlest, like compact, look at a 254. If you need more lift capacity, you know, look at the Iron-Rhino. This machine is available in 13-inch turf, 10.5-inch turf, 8.5-inch, and then there's a variety. You can get some of them in ag tires, but 8.5, 10.5, 13, 12-inch. Currently, the Iron-Rhino is just 8.5. It's available in different tread patterns, but you have a choice of 8.5 single or 8.5 duals. We are working on a single rim that would allow you to run like a 12 or 13-inch turf or ag tire on that. But how does this one lift so much more than this one? Well, part of it, like I said, it's 4 inches longer. You can kind of see that the rear axle is set back a little further. The rear machine is just a little bit further back. It's got about 1,100 pounds more steel in it, and that's things like this. This is a 5/8 inch. This is 7/8 inch, like lift capacities. These are 3.5 inch cylinders. These are 4-inch cylinders. Pretty much everywhere on this machine, not everywhere, but in a lot of places. A lot of places where you're up in steel size. You know, what might be a 1/4 inch is 3/8 of an inch. Like in the case of this, what's 5/8 is 7/8. All that adds up to 1,100 pounds more steel. That 1,100 pounds more steel adds up to more lift capacity. And in virtually the same footprint, just a little bit longer. So an Iron-Rhino 1700 without the counterweights is still going to have a tip capacity higher than the 1200 with the counterweight. So you can, you know, if you don't want that extra weight sticking out the back, you can run it without the counterweights, and it's still an outstanding machine. But you probably drop to about 1,500 pound working limit versus the 1,700 pound working limit. It's still outstanding. But again, from the smallest and most compact to the heaviest lifters, you know, we try to have a variety of stuff here at a variety of prices. The great thing with the Iron-Rhino machines is you're ranging from, at current prices, $28,995 up to this biggest cab unit sitting right here, $39,995. And compare that, you know, and still with a, you know, with a Kubota diesel V1505 engine in that, compare that against, you know, where it's out with the competition, and it's just outstanding. And if you actually run these machines, see what they'll pick up, see what they'll do, I promise you're impressed. So all this stuff is available at Iron-Rhino.com. Specs and pricing available at ChipperLLCSales.com. For Iron-Rhino, we are 1-year warranty of parts and labor. For Giant, 2-year warranty of parts and labor. So Giant, for anything about Giant, you have that 2-year warranty. But sales and support here, full-time mechanics, and we try to go out of our way to give you as much knowledge as we can impart, help you find the right loader. Check out our website. If you need more help, give us a call. Thanks for watching. This list added at the end is a useful tool, listing the model number, the price, the weight of the machine, the low tip measured at the plate, the mid-lift tip measured at the plate, drawbar pull, hinge pin height, width shown with and without duals where appropriate, and a list of tire options that are available. Reviewing this list will help narrow down which loader is best for you.